Welcome to The Why. In our podcast, The Why, we're going to cover topics that are important to SAP customers and to our team. We want you to share this information internally. We want you to share this information outside of SAP Ariba. And we want you to be able to connect with other thought leaders in our business. This week, our podcast, The Why, is at Amsterdam at SAP Ariba Live, which is the place to be for business-to-business commerce. Joining me today on our podcast, The Why, is Remy Lazarovich, who's the Senior Vice President of Business Development for Celonis. Remy, thank you for joining us today on our podcast, The Why.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you at Ariba Live. For our listeners, why don't you start and just give an overview of Celonis, the business that you're in, and I understand you've been an SAP partner for a while. And then talk a little bit about how you transitioned to becoming an Ariba partner.
Yeah, sure. So Celonis is the market leader for process mining. Process mining is a state-of-the-art technology that is allowing enterprises to leverage digital footprints they leave in their IT systems, such as SAP ERP and SAP Ariba,
right,
in order to fully reconstruct and visualize as-is business processes. So in most of the initiatives that companies having on their digital agenda, like operational excellence, like process automation, the key task is understanding how do you execute your processes today and what do you need to improve and transform in order to get where you want to be. And we're helping our customers in answering exactly that question and showing them how they execute their business processes in real practice and where they have opportunities to improve efficiency, to reduce cycle times, to reduce loops in their business processes in order to get to operational excellence. And we are partnering with SAP for quite some time. We are a solution extension partner with SAP. We are platinum partner of SAP. We are working together in terms of both technology and go-to-market. And we've already brought tremendous values to our joint customers. We're excited to intensify collaboration with Ariba in specific, as there's a lot of synergies between what Ariba is bringing to their customers and the value add that Celonis can bring on top of that.
Right. So if I understand right, by understanding what your current process is, it's important to know where to tweak it, where to change it, right, where to transform it, right, before you want to automate it, right? You don't want to just automate a bad process. You really want to automate a better or improved process. Are those some of the things that you're helping expose and walk customers through?
Definitely. Process automation is a very good example because most of the companies are looking into that. RPA is a very hot topic at the moment. And as you say, it doesn't make sense to automate a bad process, then you make a bad process faster.
Right.
So the first task is to understand process maturity, because you need to have a certain maturity level in order to have a successful process automation. That's why studies also state that 80% of initial robotic process automation initiatives fail,
right,
because you fail to pick the right process and the right steps for automation. So that's where, for example, as one of the use cases that we support,
right,
process mining and process automation fit very well together.
That makes sense. So you must have some very unique and custom tools, right, to collect this information and then be able to share it with customers. So is that IP sort of embedded inside of your solutions, or what are you using to sort of harvest some of this information?
Definitely. So we have a lot of experience in analyzing business processes of any kind, and we have pre-built connectors, for example, for the SAP ERP system, but also for SAP Ariba.
Okay.
Especially with SAP Ariba, the integration is very seamless, as you can directly pull data through Ariba's APIs in order to leverage them for process mining. So from an integration perspective, makes a lot of sense. It brings immediate value to Ariba users. We have, especially in the procurement space, also a lot of very interesting use cases that our customers are already analyzing, and we can share that with interested new users.
Right. So is it across the entire source to pay, source to settle process? You can look at all aspects of that, sort of the sourcing piece, the buying piece, the invoicing piece, the payments, looking at each of those.
Definitely.
What about industries? Do you work across all industries, or are there certain industries that are more robust than others?
We work across industries. I think very good examples from the procurement space, from producing industries, but also from telco industries. One of our big customers in procurement space is Vodafone, for example. They have a big, massive procurement operation, and they've been able to increase their so-called perfect purchase order rate to more than 90% by eliminating all the waste in the process and supporting the automation journey. So that's the successes that make us proud, and that's
quite a benchmark.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have benchmarks that you often share with customers as far as helping them now set some goals? So, for example, if somebody wanted to make some changes to reduce the number of touches or reduce the amount of people that are reviewing invoices to move to a 90% sort of touchless invoicing process, do you help customers really understand how to get there and why a certain target might be achievable?
Yeah, that's actually very important, because the insights we show, for example, let's say your source to pay process on average takes 7 days.
Right.
Let's assume.
Right.
So our customers would ask, is that good or is that bad?
Right.
Do I need
Tell
to
me
improve,
where I stand.
or am I
Exactly.
above average?
Right.
We usually advise to benchmark within the organization, benchmark regions, benchmark procurement organizations, because you would want to know what is your personal, so to say, best in class,
right?
And what's your benchmarks within your organization, because it's a lot easier to improve based on internal standards than on external standard, and that's
Clearly.
something
Right.
that our technology can support with.
Right. So this week, at SAP Ariba Live, you've probably been talking to customers and prospects. What's been the feedback so far that you're hearing regarding the interest in sort of the solution and some of the services that you offer?
Yeah. So it's still amazing to see. I mean, we're using data that companies already have.
Yep.
To show them what they're actually doing. So the technical realization is not as easy as it sounds, but the concept of process mining is fairly easy. A visualized process based on data that you're anyhow collecting. And people are amazed that we're actually the first company bringing that to enterprises, because it seems so obvious.
Right.
But apparently sometimes the obvious
gets overlooked,
is overlooked, and
many customers don't understand some of these time frames or the different steps that they've created, right, within their processes. And I'm guessing the process exists because they have some rules. You have something over a certain value, and now you've got to do certain things, and then that kicks off a lot of complexity. So it seems like you're making the business process more simple, as well as you're giving them advice.
Definitely. So I would say most companies have a very good understanding of their modeled process, their to-be world.
Yep.
And they have a decent gut feeling about where they deviate from it. But what's the 100% picture? What's your real deviation? Where do you lose most time? What additional rework costs you most money?
Right.
You wouldn't want to take decisions to tackle that based on gut feeling. You would want to take decisions based on facts.
Right.
And we are delivering that facts
to
the companies.
So this year, one of the key pillars of Ariba's growth is our partner ecosystem. We've been talking about that at the Ariba Live in Las Vegas. We've talked about it this week in Amsterdam. As a partner and a part of the ecosystem, what's your feedback to us on being a core part of the Ariba growth plans for this year and going forwards?
We really appreciate the emphasis that Ariba puts on the partner network and ecosystem. That is really very great for us as a partner, both on the technology as well as on the go-to-market side. It's actually our third Ariba Live that we're participating.
Fantastic.
After Las Vegas and Prague last year, and we're more and more intensifying the collaboration, and I think it's good from both sides to see that growing. to see that we're both working on tighter integrate process mining with the Ariba network,
Right.
and increasing the value that we can bring to the Ariba community, leveraging process mining technology.
That's fantastic.
So we are glad to be here, and we thank the Ariba team for the great collaboration so far.
Fantastic. It's great to hear that. What advice, finally, would you have for our customers, prospects, or employees for getting started? Like, what is a good way to begin to look at some of the solutions you bring and solving some of these automation problems, right? And data mining, process mining that is out there.
So the best way to get started is get in touch with us. We're happy to.
Sure. We'll make sure that gets out.
we are sure to and pleased to show that we can really bring the value that we promise to the Ariba customers, and it couldn't be easier to get it connected and to just see it with your own eyes.
Right.
How you execute your processes, and that's something we're glad to support with.
Fantastic. Well, Remy, thank you for joining us this week at Ariba Live, and thank you for joining us on our podcast, The Why.
Thank you for having me here.
Our podcast, The Why, is put together by the People First team. We'll be producing The Why on a regular basis. If you have recommendations for topics, please contact the People First team. And please share this podcast with other members of our team or even outside our team. Thank you for listening to The Why.